All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ole Miss After Dark. Me and Hitch are back once again, this time joined by new Ole Miss Rebel JP Robertson, the two-way player pitcher from Pearl River Community College from Madison, Mississippi. Had a really good year down there at Pearl this past year and will continue his college career, obviously, in Oxford, Mississippi, playing for the beloved Ole Miss Rebels. JP, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing really good.
Good, good. Well, look, just kind of diving right into it right off the bat. What was one of the things that kind of made Ole Miss stand out above everybody else? I know you were a coveted player coming out of JUCO with the year you just had. So what was it that made Ole Miss the right spot for you?
I just felt like everything felt perfect when I was up there. I didn't
Yeah,
have anything bad to say about it, and I just felt at home.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
they reach out to you? Did somebody
Yeah.
from I'm guess somebody from the coaching staff? I mean that's what makes sense a lot of times. But in today's world, I have seen players use things like Twitter and Instagram to throw their stats up there and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a place to play." And to me, it's pretty smart. But it was somebody from Ole Miss probably had been you being a Mississippi kid. They knew who you were, and they were probably keeping an eye on you, right? And so you go down to Pearl River and have the year that you had on the mound, and they said, okay, right, maybe he's ready for an uptick in competition, and that kind of what I wanted to ask you about that was back in 2001 when I was in junior college. Junior college baseball wasn't a joke in Mississippi at all, and I think it's still pretty good. But having said that, making the jump from JUCO to the SEC. Like, what kind of expectations are you, or not expectations, but what are you looking to, or what are you expecting to see with that uptick in competition?
Better competition, of course, but
better hitters, right?
yes, sir.
Guys that are going to work the count more, guys that are looking for one pitch, one spot, and so to combat that, AJ Causey said something this past year that really hit home with me. And he said he became a much better pitcher when he started pitching with his mind instead of just pitching with his arm, right? And so talk about how you could do that moving into the SEC, because even though junior college is pretty good in Mississippi, still, if you're talented, right, you can mow guys down and you can move on to the next level. But at this next level, you've got to be able to think with the hitter as well as just throw it right by him.
Yes, sir. Like in junior college, I feel like on the mound I can make a mistake and get away with it. Like I feel like I could miss a fastball down the middle and get away with it every now and then. But in the SEC, I know that's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's never middle, right? Like
yes,
that's the one spot you never want to throw. It's middle.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and kind of talking about Ole Miss, it's a really exciting year coming up for Ole Miss because Mike Bianco's gone and hired Joel Mangrum as the new pitching coach for this program, and it's brought a lot of excitement with the returning pitchers we have coming back, but also with the players we're bringing in, like yourself, like Will McCausland, guys like that have had success other places and need to adapt to the SEC and need to really expand the repertoire and learn how to pitch. Were you able to meet with Joel throughout the recruiting process and just kind of what's he like a little bit, and what are you looking forward to as far as working with him?
Yes, sir. I was able to meet him. He was, whenever I went on my visit, he walked me around and had a meeting with me, and he was very involved, which I really liked. Like he made it very clear that I was wanted and like didn't let me slip in or anything. And he made it very, very clear that he was able to work with me, and that he was going to be able to do a whole lot with me. And
and
the best I can be.
Yeah, and he's got a track record saying such things too with the Cleveland Guardians, obviously where he came from. They're known as having this really deep pitching staff in their minor leagues. You see guys like Tanner Bybee that's actually made it to the majors, but a couple former Rebels we talk about a lot here on this show, Doug Nikhazy and Dylan DeLucia being in that farm system as well, coming out of college, absolutely raved about Joel Mangrum and the work he was able to do with young pitchers during his time there. So that's one reason we're really excited to see him here in Oxford.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's a nice tool that the Ole Miss coaches have, in my opinion, because looking at some of your accolades going back to high school, right? Second team All-State as a senior, first team All-State as a junior. You've got some accolades at junior college, so you are used to talking to scouts, right? You were used to talking to head coaches, right? Have you ever been able to meet and talk to anyone at the level of Joel Mangrum, who was over the pitching for the a Major League Baseball team, the Cleveland Guardians, or is that the first time you've ever been able to kind of talk to him? And are you looking forward to being able to just pick his brain as far as what you need to do to get better and then get to the next level?
It was the first time I'd ever talked to somebody like him, and it like struck me by surprise because I never thought it would happen. But
yeah, I think I think it's something that is, I'm not going to say gets overlooked, but I think it's something that people don't think about very often as a pitching coach like that. Yeah, he can help you with your mechanics. He can help you with your grips. He can help you with all of that stuff. But a guy that's been at his level, he can really help you and mold you into the way of what a major league organization is looking for. And having that at this age is priceless for a college kid, I think.
Yes, sir, it definitely is. I cannot wait to start working with him because it's just a lot of trust is gonna be built up, and I just can't wait. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, and also the part we haven't talked about yet with Mangrum, he can also help with the mental aspect of it as well, right? I mean, you can really get into your own head being up there on the mound throwing to these big SEC hitters, right? If you miss one pitch or something like that, and you try to overcorrect, it can really help with that aspect as well. So I think that's another area that where he's going to pay big dividends at. And I think Mike Bianco, he's obviously not the pitching coach, but that's a guy that knows a hell of a lot about pitching. He did it for over 20 years here at Ole Miss, being the pitching coach for us. And, we've had guys scattered throughout the major leagues make it all the way to the majors and have success there that have played under him. So I think you're in a really good spot having two really bright pitching minds to learn under. But one thing at Pearl River that you were able to do, though, you weren't only a pitcher, you were a hitter too, and you were a pretty damn good one, right? Not that you were in there every single game. You didn't log the 200 at bats or anything, but a 388 average, 993 OPS with the bomb, 3 doubles. You can swing it a little bit, huh?
Yes, sir. Actually, I broke my hamate bone in April, so that's why I had to stop hitting. And then I decided
that makes a lot more sense.
Surgery.
Yeah. So that I was kind of wondering when I was looking up all your stats and seeing all your numbers. I was thinking, Lord, surely they could have found a place for him to get more than 40 at bats throughout the year if he's OPS just south of 1,000, right? So that makes a lot of sense. So have you had that surgery done yet?
Yes, sir. I had it June 12th, I think, either June 11th or June 12th.
Okay. How's that recovery coming along?
That's coming pretty good. I got like scar tissue is about the only problem.
Yeah.
It's really not even a big problem.
Yeah. Was that on your left hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that wasn't your pitching hand then. So that's the big one. That's the big one right there. We need that right arm to be fully healthy coming up here. When you were going through the recruiting process with Ole Miss, was the two-way option kind of brought up to you, or do they want you specifically as a pitcher, or is it kind of a wait and see kind of a deal?
I mean, I brought it up, but
yeah,
and I've known that eventually I'm gonna have to put the bat down because I'm way more talented with the pitching side of baseball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided. I mean,
I'm gonna leave it at a wait and see. Yeah, right. Look. If you look at the things that our coaches do, right, on the football field, who knows? You may have a defensive lineman come in and play tight end and fullback. Basketball, we do crazy stuff. Who's to say baseball? Bottom of the ninth, right? JP, go. You think you're going to the bullpen? No, man. Grab your bat. Get up there and get you an AB. Hit a
Get
ball,
your helmet.
Man.
Yeah,
We'll do some crazy stuff. We ain't scared.
that's right.
Old Mike's been known to do some shit.
Look, we've seen it before. Back with when Derek Diamond was here at Ole Miss, he was
he played left field one game.
Yeah, he was a really good hitter and a really good athlete. And I can't remember who we were playing, but we'd gotten into extra innings and we'd gotten pretty deep into it. And we were out of bench players at that point. So Derek Diamond was able to get in at bat during that. And there were several times where they put him in to pinch run and, like Hitch just said, get him out there and left it just because of how good of an athlete he is, right? So it's not out of the question. So every now and then, once that hand gets fully healed up and you're feeling good, once everybody leaves, maybe take a couple hacks just to stay loose just in case, because you never know. You get into that 14th, 15th inning, there's nobody left on the bench, and we're looking for somebody to put that sucker over the wall and let us get home.
Hey, look, brother, I'm going to tell you what. Looking at this offense last year, we ain't going to say no to any bat coming into the lineup. We're going to give everybody a shot.
We got some holes to fill here, So, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I just didn't know if maybe they had talked to you a little bit about possibly being a two-way player or not. Was it more of you're going to come in and compete for a starting pitching job, or they want you in the bullpen? Was role discussed at all as far as your recruiting went?
We didn't discuss it a whole lot, but I think me and Coach Mangrum both agreed that I would fit better as a starter, or maybe a guy out of the pen on the weekends.
Yeah, maybe even kind of like that Jack Doherty role, right? A guy that even if he doesn't make the weekend starting rotation, a guy that can come in and throw 3 and 4 innings out of the bullpen, start midweeks, start a weekend game if somebody goes down, assuming you don't win one just outright too. That's obviously not out of the realm of possibilities, right? There's a lot of competition going on this year. We get Riley Maddox back, Mason Nichols back. I think that's a really big one for us, because that's one of the ultimate swing guys in this rotation, because he showed he could pitch on the weekends for us last year, and he spent 2 years being this dominant back end of the bullpen guy as well. In my opinion, I think this staff would love to find a guy to step up to take over one of those weekend roles. That way we could get Mason back into that back end of the bullpen with Connor Spencer, with those other arms we have coming back. I think that's the ideal situation. That's kind of what I had in mind for you too, kind of trying to compete for one of those 3 weekend roles for us.
Yes, sir. That's what I plan on trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, and too, we were. It's no secret that we lost, I think, in my opinion, probably 2 guys that were going to be weekend starters next year to the transfer portal, in Liam Doyle and Wes Mendez. And so then at that point, and my timeline may be off now, but it felt like we got a couple of commits from McCausland, and then you committed here. And so it felt like, okay, now we've got a couple of guys that can fill those starter roles that we just possibly lost. And then we had the draft, and we learned that, we may get back like 3 guys who have weekend starting experience. And so I guess, did that play into your decision of coming to Ole Miss at all? Was the fact that, we had these 2 guys leave and I may be able to start, or was it, I'm coming to Ole Miss regardless because that's where I want to be?
It played somewhat of a role, just because I felt like I would have a better chance of having more playing time with more people leaving.
Well, and that makes sense, right? Because growing up, there are no starters and bullpen guys. Like you're a starter and you pitch, and that's what you're conditioned being. And even in high school, a smaller school like we went to, we just had pitchers. We didn't have anybody like that. So you don't start getting into roles until probably you get to like a JUCO or a Division I, not Division I, but a college. And it's got to be tough, right? Going into it and thinking, I've always been a starter. I want to be a starter, and then having to go to that bullpen. It's that mental aspect of it too, that I think that, again, Coach Mangrum is going to be able to help yourself and all these other pitchers when it comes to that role on the team.
Yes, sir. I know he will definitely be able to help with like anything. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything he couldn't help with.
Yeah, yeah. He certainly has a track record to do it. I was kind of thinking, Hitch, while you were talking about that. First person that popped in my mind was Dylan DeLucia, right? He was always conditioned to be a starting pitcher, and by God, that's what he was. He was a starting pitcher no matter what.
Mhm.
When he'd come out of the bullpen, he'd get lit up pretty good. But man, you put him on the bump to start that first inning, and he was just a completely different player. And some people are just wired that way. It's really interesting how pitchers are wired and how they perform in certain situations. I guess that's why I've always been drawn to that side of baseball. I've always been really intrigued with pitchers. So like you said, you're from Madison. You've grown up in Mississippi. Did you spend any time as a kid going to Ole Miss baseball games or anything like that? Like, did you ever get up to Swayze as a kid or anything?
No, sir. Y'all are gonna hate me, but I grew up
Oh
a Mississippi
no.
State fan.
Yeah, see, it
I
almost came
graduated
out of
from
my
Mississippi
mouth.
State, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm the only
No big
pure
deal.
rebel here out of the three of us. Only pure one. So you
Yes,
went
sir.
to the dude a good bit then, huh?
Oh, yes, sir. A lot.
Yeah. So at least you're not you're at least used to the SEC experience when it comes to baseball.
Mhm.
Though I
Yes,
can
sir.
sit here and hate on Mississippi State as long as I have a breath left in my body, and I will absolutely do so until the day I die. However, the atmosphere, the stadium, all of that when it comes to their baseball program is incredible. They obviously have that beautiful stadium they have there now, especially after they've renovated it. So you won't be any stranger to SEC environments. At least that's got to be something that has to play in our hand a little bit because
Mhm.
Swayze has a pretty good environment in itself, right? You're going to have 10, 11, up to 12 or even 13,000 people there throughout the weekends each night. And that can really get the adrenaline going when people really get hooting and hollering and cheering. You have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs and 2 strikes. I imagine that the adrenaline can really start running at that point.
Oh, yes, sir. I cannot wait for that to
Yeah.
happen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's going to be
Well,
interesting though when we play
I was gonna say
state this
that leads
year.
me to my question. I've got the question I ask every time, right? The adrenaline's
Oh
going,
yeah.
right? So at junior college, do you have warm up music?
Yes, sir. We do.
Are you going to use the same one up here, or is it you got one that you like?
Uh, I might change it, but I
Okay.
might also keep it the same.
What is it?
Okay.
I did Wish I Had It by Kevin
Okay.
Gates last year.
All right. Hey,
Okay.
we had Isaac Humphreys on a couple of weeks ago, or whatever, and just talking to him and just explaining, like, I don't know that people who don't play like get how it is with that either warm up music or walk up music. Like, it's almost like you need to hear, like, there's something in that song that locks you in and gets you ready for that at bat or that outing or that inning. And so, like, I don't care what it is, as long as it is like yours and like it does it for you. So, but if you need any help, I'm excellent at picking out walkout music. So just so you know.
That's
Yes,
That's
sir. I'll
his
keep that
thing.
in mind.
That's his
It's true.
thing. So speaking of the comforts and all, have you had a chance to talk to any of your new teammates now, whether it be guys like Isaac coming in or some of the returning players, anything like that?
I've talked to a couple of returners, and then
Okay.
I've known a freshman coming in that went to Brandon. I've known about him for a
Okay.
while, and then I
Mhm.
played against a guy that was at Meridian that's coming to Ole Miss too. So I
Okay.
know a couple of people.
All right.
There you go. So that'd be a nice, easy transition for you then.
Mm.
Already have relationships built by the time you get to campus. So yeah, it's going to be really fun to see all of you guys get on here and start ramping up for this season. What are kind of your expectations going into your first year at Ole Miss, right? Both personally and from a team perspective, just kind of what are you expecting coming into this year?
Like from a team perspective, I'm hoping we'll have a really good bond as a team to
Mhm.
help push us further along in the season and to hopefully win a national championship. And
Yep.
then as a personal, I guess, just to build relationships, have fun, and play as much as I can.
Yeah, that's right. And when you get up there, you just absolutely shove, especially against Mississippi State. That's the big one. Okay. I don't care who you grew up rooting for. That's the one you need to get, them and LSU. So, all right, buddy. Well, look, I think that's about all we have for you here today. I appreciate you joining us. We're really excited to have you on board. And can't wait to see y'all get started. You'll probably see me and Hitch out a little bit during fall ball. We try to get out there for some of the fall ball games and stuff like that.
There aren't two more people excited about Ole Miss baseball than the two people you're talking to right now.
That's right.
I guarantee
it.
Yes, sir.
Guaranteed. So we will see y'all out at the field, man. Again, appreciate your time. I really do. You taking time out to do this for us. I know Rebel Nation is going to really appreciate it, get to know you a little bit, and we will see you out on the diamond here before too long. Fall ball is going to start here in a few months, so it's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. Can't wait for it.
All right, I appreciate JP. It. You have a good one, bud.
Thank you. Y'all too.
All right, hi, Toddy.
Howdy, Toddy.
There he is. That's what we get him to say.
Not the state fan to do it. Not the state fan to do howdy, Toddy.
All right,
that's what we're waiting on.